Well, there it is. Hello and welcome to the WTiiWarcraft Patron Q&A. This is where I answer questions from the Raider and Tauren patrons over at patreon.com/WTiiWarcraft, and they help support me to keep this channel going alongside many others. If you are interested in being one of those others as well and joining the crew, then you can do so at patreon.com/WTiiWarcraft. There is a link underneath the video below, in the description below, and check it out. And consider becoming a patron yourself. I'll be very, very grateful. And as for these guys, I'm very grateful for your questions as well, because there's some fun ones here actually. And Spencer Swanson starts us off. He says, "Hey Rich, I got a question for you, and I don't want a short and sweet answer. Setting aside all of reality, describe what the perfect girl for you would be like. Hair color, skin color, intelligence, hobbies, personality, introverted or extroverted, supportive or challenging, blunt or sensitive, eye color, age, even her name. No judgment, just say who would be perfect for you." Alright, we're going to leave the last one to the last bit. It just made me laugh because I thought of a perfect answer for that. Alright, okay, so let's start off then, shall we? Alright, well, put it this way, I've been interested in girls of all shapes and sizes to some degree. This isn't some sort of fetish thing. I feel like this is such an awkward question to answer to some. That's why we're doing this one first. Get this one done first because it is a little bit awkward. Thank you very much, Spencer, for this. There's, for example, I'll give you two examples, both from the same place of work, my previous place of work. I hope they're not watching. But one was very small, very, very feisty, sort of like I don't know if her name is Ellen Page. She did Juno. You know, the girl that did Juno. She's like a really feisty version of her, basically. Very, very, yeah, attractive. And she was great fun. She was really kind of like controversial and, you know, just quite crazy, really, to be honest. And I definitely liked her a lot. And there's another girl also at the same place. And don't worry, I didn't get around or anything like that, but yeah, this other girl was larger in size, but she's still very good looking girl, and I could sort of see past that because I really appreciated how just sort of down to earth. She was like the girl next door type, and went out for a meal with her before, and she's super sweet, and yeah, she's a lovely girl, and you know, she was a lot more calm and collect, but she had such a sort of sweet manner about her, and there's all different types, and I think I'm fussy, but at the end of the day, I don't think I am that fussy, really. I think it just comes down to really just enjoying the person's company, you know. That's what makes a difference, you know. They could be the best looking person in the world, or worst looking person in the world, but if they make you feel good when you talk to them, when you communicate, when you have that spark, that's what really matters, without doubt. At the end of the day, that's what, you know, builds the relationship, and then you see past the flaws and stuff like that. So anyway, that's going down to sort of weird relationship. I'm not really answering your question there, so I'll answer your question because that's just a little setup for this, so you can see where I'm coming from. It's not really that big an issue. But if we were going to set aside all reality and describe what the perfect girl would be like, let's start off with her hair color. Okay, her hair color would be black. Okay, so it doesn't have to be black. I could go with any color, but black for some reason, because this leads into the hairstyle, which you didn't mention, but I may as well mention it, is that kind of bobbed look. I think girls used to have it quite a lot in the 70s and 60s. I'm not entirely sure. There was a girl who had that. When I went to do court service, that's not even the right term for it, but basically jury service, that's it. And there was a girl there, I was really getting along well with her. Unfortunately, she didn't have to turn up for like her jury because the next week, because I was going to sort of like see if we can go any further, but unfortunately that was the end of that, because yeah, anyway, she was, you know, very attractive, and just kind of like this fun going bobbed style, sort of like black hair. I don't know what it is about that. In case you're curious, none of the girls I know, other than this girl at the jury service, had hair like that anyway, so it doesn't have to be hair like that, but I don't know, I just like that kind of hair. Skin colour doesn't make a difference to me, really, to be quite frank. Like, yeah, it's just white, I guess, because that's what I'm most familiar with in my surroundings and such, but it wouldn't really bother me that much if I liked the person enough if they were black or whatever, you know. So I won't go too much detail just in case other people watch, but yeah, I quite like Asians as well. So yeah, I've got to be careful sometimes because I don't know who watches my video. I don't think anyone really does watch my videos in real life, but you never know. So I've got to be a little bit cautious. Intelligence, smart, not too smart, certainly not dumb, because I want someone, and this might go later on, to challenge me. I'll get to that bit later on. I want someone to challenge me in terms of like my thoughts, like who isn't shy to sort of tell me I'm wrong or something like that. And because I like arguing anyway, it's just my personality type. I like to argue. I like to be controversial. I like to sort of start things, but in a joking way, not like in an aggressive way. Like I just want to actually pick a fight for no reason. I just like to sort of like get a discussion going. So she'd have to be smart enough to be able to follow up with a lot of the ideas that I would have, and vice versa. She might have ideas, and then we can have a good conversation from that. Hobbies, without doubt, gaming. Although how realistic is that? We have set realism outside of the realm, so yeah, there are actually I don't think there are any girls that are into gaming ever in the world. Yeah, so this is totally and utterly not real at all. So yeah, gaming. Being active. I've always wanted to be sort of like a bit more active in real life, sort of like sporty, go out there, do things. Unfortunately, I'm not, because I just don't know that many people, so I don't go and do those things. If I knew someone or I had a partner, that would be enough for me to say, hey, you know what do you want to do today? Do you want to go, let's do some, you know, mountain climbing, rock climbing, let's go freaking, you know, let's go learn how to fucking ride a boat or something like that, you know, hire a boat for the day, just go out, just anything really. Just, I suppose it would be an excuse to get me out of my shell to some degree, because I can't be really bothered to do things too much on my own. There are people I do know in real life, believe it or not that many, but there are a few, and they're not the same personality type as me. Like I've got a good mate from school and stuff like that, but we're totally different people now than what we were, and I've never known anyone in real life that is like me. So, aside from Pracky, basically. Pracky's a totally different personality type to me, so don't make that comparison that we're the same personality type. He's very different to me, but we get along very well because we can understand each other incredibly well. But he's totally different in personality, sort of like what he's into, how he reacts to things and stuff like that, but at the same time he's the same. It's really hard to explain that, but I haven't got that kind of person in real life. And before you ask, Pracky is literally on the other side of the country, so he could be next door and that would be me sorted basically, but he's not, so I just have to chat to him on Ventrilo or Steam or whatever it is and pester him as much as I can that way. So hobbies, yeah, just she doesn't have to be just into the same shit I'm into, basically. It's as simple as that. Just, I'm not into sports or anything like that. I couldn't give a shit, to be quite frank. Like, so one of the things she definitely I wouldn't want is someone that's into soccer and stuff like that. Or, well, I say soccer for the American viewers, football, that kind of stuff, rugby. I couldn't give two shits. No offense to anyone that is into that stuff. It just literally, I do not care about that at all. So yeah, personality, I suppose that goes in the same boat as hobbies to a degree, is that she'd want to be like the same person as me. I suppose a clone of me with longer hair. No. Personality, fun, controversial, a little bit crazy, but at the same time down to earth, can sort of like be calm and collect. An amalgamation of the two girls I knew before. I think she would have to basically be able to find me funny, and that's only because I'm always kind of trying to be funny to a degree. That's possibly a personality flaw or something like that. So if I was with someone that just didn't find me funny, that would make for a very awkward relationship. So someone that's not shy of basically coming up with controversial topics. Like, I say that like it's a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. It's just sort of like being open-minded. I'm open-minded, and this is going down a different road with before you go down that road with relationships, not that open-minded to, oh, I'm into this, whatever. I'm not going down that road, you know, whatever. That's a very dangerous road to go down. But just like, God, I think I'm thinking about this one too much. She's just a little bit crazy, I suppose. I would like that. Not like mentally insane, just a little bit crazy. Someone that just makes something new each day. And even if they don't, it's still just enough. I don't know. It feels like a difficult question to answer, that one. I don't know why. Introverted or extroverted? Again, I could take the easy answer here and just say a little bit of both. Basically introverted enough so that I could actually have something in common with her, but extroverted enough to take me out or get me outside or encourage me enough to go out and try new things. There you go. That's nailed a lot quicker and easier than the personality one. Supportive or challenging? Well, she'd definitely have to be supportive. I said challenging earlier, but I don't want to like challenge me too much that everything's like a, you know, why are you doing this? Oh, you got to make another YouTube video? Why are you doing that? I don't get it. Oh, no one even watches you. You can imagine that. Why would you want that? You want someone that's supportive and be like, all right, dear, all right, I'll help you out. How about I do this? Or I've got an idea for what you could do. You want supportive, of course. I don't know why you would want challenging. That's a very strange type. You've got to be a very particular type of person to want that, I guess. Blunt or sensitive? Leaning towards sensitive. Not sensitive, because like I say, controversial topics and stuff like that, I just like to have a good laugh, and almost anything is game to a degree. You know, with realistic proportion. It just sort of like... I'm not a sensitive person. I think I've been desensitized by the internet completely and utterly. I don't get that upset about much of anything, to be quite frank with you, like some people do. I couldn't be with someone that was sensitive, but at the same time, I'm not into blunt. That's not my style. Just, I don't know, if blunt was there, sensitive was there, it'd be somewhere like there, just near the middle, somewhere in between. Eye colour, I think we'll go green, just because that'd be a funky colour. Otherwise, blue is nice. A light blue, sort of like the type of blue that just sort of like dazzle you. Age, let's see, age, 18? No, I'm just joking with you. Basically mid-20s to 30. She can be 32, she can be 33, she can be whatever, to be quite frank. Just around my age. Enough so that we actually have enough in common and that we've got that kind of grounded sort of like mutual respect that you sort of have with other people of your own age. There's just that kind of, yeah, I know you, you know me. We've grown up with the same sort of thing, so it just makes sense to be like around the same age. Even her name. Okay, this is the one. Can you guess what I'm going to say? I'm going to give you a second. Type it down in the comment section below, and then this is long enough for you to press enter. You got it? Oh, Jodie! Yes, it's got to be Jodie. No, I'm just joking with you. Not really Jodie, of course. But I really want to see a lot of people say Jodie. You're not allowed to say Jodie if you just listen to this bit without typing it in. It only counts for people that have said it genuinely. Honestly, I've always liked the name Rachel or Rebecca. For some reason, names beginning with R, just, I don't know, I quite like them. Rachel, I really like that name. Rebecca is a really good name because you can just call her Becky, Bex, Reb. No, I don't know, there's other ones, Rebecca, but that's a nice enough name. Yeah, I think probably Rachel though. There's something nice about that. Alright then, I think that was quite exhausting. So, thank you very much, Pegger, so much. And I'm going to move on to our next question. BonnyBronyBoy, who is becoming a one-off patron, as a way to show his support, and thank you very much for this, BonnyBronyBoy. Quite the name. I said that to you earlier. Well, I asked him, he can ask me a question, and he said he hadn't really thought about any questions, but sure. What's your favourite colour, and who's your favourite Warcraft 3 hero? By the way, I can't believe we're actually 14 minutes through this video. I'm never going to be quick at this. I suppose you're going to be happy with that, though. I certainly wasn't a short and sweet answer. I can't fucking do it for some reason. What's your favourite colour? I said it before. Green. But I'm just as satisfied with blue. Black. I quite like black. Purple's a neat colour as well. Teal, that's an awesome colour. In case you're not curious, you're not sure what teal is. Teal's like it's what my colour, the colour of my budgie is. Like if you shine the light on him, or if he's by the window and the light's shining in, his feathers give off this like beautiful glowing teal colour. So that's a really freaking nice colour. I've always liked green though, because of a luminous green, sort of like, you know, the glowing type green. It's always sort of like, oh, that's like the most awesome colour ever, is a glowing green. Otherwise, teal, I would say, because of the budgie. Can't argue with that. So, what's my favourite Warcraft 3 hero? Okay, well, are we going on lore, like, or just the sort of Warcraft 3 heroes in like, oh, the Farseer, or the Priestess of the Moon? Not necessarily Tyrande. So I'd answer both parts of those. I would say Illidan is my favourite hero, because he's like a badass asshole to a degree. He's like the anti-hero, and that's really cool. And I think you're finding that a lot of decent TV shows these days have this kind of anti-hero character, which is becoming very popular. And it should have been, I think it's been popular before. It's not saying, oh, this is the first time it's being done, but an anti-hero is always a very, very, well, for me at least, preferred type of hero, because it means they're a hero with depth. They're not just this kind of for justice, for good. It's just, that's boring. You want someone that's, you know, they do good things, but why are they doing the good things? Like Illidan, he's sort of like, he's helping fight versus the Legion and stuff like that, but at the same time he's trying to do it for his own sort of power, but he's not doing it Gul'dan style. I'm going to get all like Warcraft lore here. He's not doing it Gul'dan style, where it's just like, oh, must get every bit of power for myself. He's doing it not just for himself, for his people, but at the same time it's kind of greed. It's human flaws, characters with flaws and stuff like that. Wow, that's a lore answer to it. So Illidan in terms of story wise. Let's see. Well, again, in terms of Warcraft 3 hero, that's so tough. Can I answer it with 3 of them? I would say Demon Hunter, Blade Master, and Tauren Chieftain. I love all 3 of those just as much as each other in their own different ways. The Blade Master is just fucking hilarious. Whoa, yes, I am here and obey. He's just fantastic, and he's got such an awesome look. The Tauren Chieftain is fucking amazing, because he's like, whoa, I can see my ancestors. He's just so funny. Like, if you listen to the voice samples, you can get into Warcraft 3, go into the editor, press F5, that'll bring up the sound editor, and then you can listen to all the sound samples of all the units in Warcraft 3. The Priest is really good as well. Like, he's totally underrated. He's really a funny guy if you actually click on him enough times. And the Tauren Chieftain is just fucking hilarious. And I just love, like, the look of him, like this kind of gnarly but beefy type character. He sort of like sways around, but he's got honor, he's got justice. Again, I'm going down in this whole lore road, but the looks of it is well the same. I don't think I could definitely choose between any one of them, although I think if you put a gun to my head, okay, I guess this is kind of choosing, I would say the Tauren Chieftain wins, because I just get so excited talking about him every time. He's the one hero that I fucking... I love a lot of the heroes, obviously, because you can tell from my gameplays that, you know, I get into it when I'm playing with, you know, multiple different heroes. But the Tauren Chieftain just... oh, something about him is just freaking fantastic. I just love it. It's just so good. Right, okay, moving on to Tompelicious. This is going to be a long one, because he's actually asked several questions. Oh, this might... oh, there we go. Kind of answer this. Not quite, though. If you had to pick 3 heroes that you would have to play with in every game. This is Tompelicious asking these questions, by the way. No matter the race or matchup, which 3 would you pick? And that's 3, not free, as in Warcraft 3, the Frozen Throne. I would pick... Well, if this is a definitive answer, because there's so many combinations, I'm going to give you a few combinations as well that you can use if you were ever in this situation, which you won't be. But Archmage first, and he's a theme, because you're going to see the Archmage in pretty much all of these. Hint, hint, Archmage is a little overpowered. Okay, so Archmage... Panda, because he's so versatile, he can smack down tanks, gargoyles, things like that. So things like tanks are a really big issue for a lot of races that don't have the units or the heroes to really bring them down. Panda really deals with those very nicely. Drunken Haze just is an AoE version of Curse, which is an incredibly underrated ability, and he's got longevity as well with the Brawler. So when he gets like super powerful, his ultimates good. I'm nowhere near a good enough player though to use his ultimate well, which is why I'm always scared to pick it, because it actually requires putting some effort in. But he's got an ultimate that's incredibly flexible. It allows him to more or less be invulnerable, because you can't kill him if you just wind walk away, unless they're quick enough to catch you. So he's kind of invincible in that sense. And yeah, that's the Panda. I'm really going on about the Panda, but I didn't actually mention the first hero. Let me just tell you anyway what the 3 heroes are. Archmage, Panda, Shadowhunter. Okay, so we talked a lot about the Panda. I'll just finish off the Panda part. Panda. So the Panda is... he's just a fucking beast. Like, if you asked me who's the best overall general hero from the neutral taverns, and yes, there are a few, but they're all situational to a degree. The Panda is just standard, always gonna fucking be good, to be quite frank. It's really hard for him to suck. So the Panda, and he really combines very well with the Archmage, because the Archmage has the Brilliance Aura, which is why I think he's the most overpowered hero in the game, technically, because of that Brilliance Aura. And then your Archmage, he's got a little ability called Mass Teleport, which is insane. And did I not mention that he also has Blizzard, which is basically the highest DPS version of AoE, and it's incredibly cheap, and it's even cheaper because he has Brilliance Aura, so he's incredibly effective against groups of units, so he's super versatile in that respect. And then, oh yeah, there's those little things called Water Elementals, which are one of the most fucking broken things in the game. Now, I know people are going to have a go at me saying imbalance this, imbalance that. I like to joke around, but seriously, Water Elementals are fucking... they are overtuned. I don't think many people are going to argue with me on that. Water Elementals are overtuned as summoned units. They can do a lot for you early game, a lot for you mid game, and they can still kick ass late game as well, providing your enemy hasn't got mass destroyers or something. But that's situational in itself. They're knights basically at level 3. Slow attack, but they're basically knights. They've got, I don't know, they're just... the Archmage is just brilliant in every respect. Brilliant! You know, whatever. Archmage, Panda, and the Shadowhunter, because the Shadowhunter is probably the best support. Now you'd be surprised, why isn't it saying Paladin? Resurrection is incredible. Divine Shield is amazing in points. Holy Light. The Paladin would be a close third. I think the humans are very lucky to have the Archmage, Mountain King, Paladin. There's nothing wrong with the Mountain King. You know, the Panda, he's just more sort of overall versatile than the Mountain King, because the Mountain King's more single target focused, whereas the Panda can still do single target damage, but he controls the AoE as well. The Shadowhunter, Hex, again, one of the most broken abilities in the game by a long way. It's fucking crazy. Hex is like a free kill a lot of the time. That goes for heroes as well. On units it lasts for fucking ever. And then on heroes it's crazy. Healing Wave, probably the best heal in the game overall, because of just how effective it can be, providing you're distributing damage correctly via micro, which you should be doing. Okay? And Serpent Wards. Yeah, not the best, but they're there. they're awesome if you can get them and make them work. And Big Bad Voodoo, not the best again, but I suppose if you were to mass teleport into an enemy base, stick the Shadow Hunter in a really awkward to get to place, and with mass tanks or whatever that your army is, because you might not necessarily be human, because this is going for any race. You could have mass Bat Riders. Imagine Archmage mass teleporting with mass Bat Riders into people's bases. Crazy, you know, that sort of thing, you know. And you can have Big Bad Voodoo make yourself immune and vulnerable whilst you're doing what you need to do, and then you can have an invulnerability potion on your Shadow Hunter, because once they manage to suddenly try to focus him down and kill him and get him to the point where he's near death, you know, just pop invulnerability, heal him up, try to keep him as alive as long as possible, and then when you're done doing what you're doing, mass teleport back out again. So Archmage, Archmage, Panda, Shadow Hunter, probably in that order as well as what you would do if you were creeping properly. God, I go on forever, don't I? You say, why did you start playing Warcraft 3 in the first place? Any good sentimental junk to share with us? Some special memories? I remember the first years of Warcraft 3 on Battlenet, when we were all noobs and had no clue what we were doing. In Warcraft 3, you had at least one ally saying rush in the first few seconds of every game. Warcraft 3 was so fun back then when players weren't either tryhards or hackers. Yeah, that's kind of a good definition. You either have tryhards or hackers. Very rarely do you have an in-between. Incredibly rare. Why did I start getting into Warcraft 3? Well, I suppose part of the reason would be is that I played all of the Warcraft games and pretty much all the Blizzard games beforehand. So I was familiar with the Warcraft franchise, but strangely enough, I didn't actually pick up Warcraft 3 when it first came out. I didn't even really know. I remember reading about it in PC Gamer or a gaming magazine. They had like an article of like several pages and they had pictures of these like zoomed in gameplay. I was like, that looks weird, because I'm used to RTS top down, you know. This was like Warcraft 3 style where you are really zoomed into the action. I was like, that's not going to work, but I was curious about it anyway, but I didn't think about it that much more past that point. I was still probably into Heroes of Might and Magic and stuff like that at the time, but yeah, I got a new computer roughly about a month, I think, or just up to a month after Warcraft 3 came out. I'm pretty sure I was like a month late to the party. Not absolutely sure on that because it's so long ago, but I'm pretty sure I was a month late to the party. And I got Grand Theft Auto with it. This is Grand Theft Auto 3. This was the first 3D version of Grand Theft Auto, which was like, you know, a mind-blowing experience back in the day. You know, this had never been done. Grand Theft Auto was originally like top-down, but now you're like in this sandbox world where you can sort of see it around you. It's all around you, the environment. And I got that, and I saw on the shelves Warcraft 3, and I was like, huh, alright, I'll pick that up as well. And that's the end of the story, really. I fucking got hooked on that. I was working at Sainsbury's, like 16 years old I think I was at the time, when I probably got that. So that's when I got into Warcraft 3, which is obviously a long time ago now. You can imagine I'm 30. So 16, 17, something like that. That's when I first got the internet as well. So I got Warcraft 3, would have played the campaign. I didn't even know you had play game, like against other players, the ladder. When I first started, I started off playing custom games, and that's all I thought there ever was, and I was happy playing. I played that for a week. I got real nostalgic, emotional feelings when I hear some of the Warcraft 3 music, because I remember those times and how I felt when I was playing this stuff. That's like the first time I was playing online with other people and stuff. That is freaking incredible, really, and it's kind of emotional to that degree. So I suppose you got that sentimental stuff. Yeah, that's where the Warcraft 3 came from, basically, for me. So, also, I remember Hutchka. I don't think many other people will. Not that I've really talked about Hutchka much. He was a Danish guy that I met in the very early days of Warcraft 3, and we would always play like a ranged team and do some crazy stuff, 3 versus 3, you know, fast tech to mass shims. So that's kind of where this sort of like layman slash, you know, sort of like stupid strategy stuff originated from me. Obviously it's existed for a long time, but you know, that's where it started from me, I think, where it's like, you know, what should we do? Oh, I'll feed you resources and you just fast tech straight to shims. And then, you know, back in the day people were bad, so you could turn up with like mass shims and they would still have tier 1 armies and they would have no idea how to handle mass shims. but obviously it is answerable these days. You know, so much fast taking. We tried it before. Me and Sexy Time, you saw. We tried fast taking the shims. Agreed, we did it on a terrible map, like the freaking smallest map of all time, Goldshire. But we still did it, and it's all really hard to pull off. And that's us now. You know, quite capable players still struggling to pull that off. But back then, you got away with murder. So that's when all this sort of stuff, you know, began. Alright, and the last question. Which game would you say is the pinnacle of your Warcraft 3 career? Would it be nice if you uploaded some classic game in which you did some hilarious strategy a long time ago? One game that comes to mind is the one where you went for Solo Warden, I think, and made only mass Moonwells on Tyrannostand versus an undead player. I haven't been able to find that one. Keep the fun going, Thomas. I actually remember that one. Wasn't that against, like, Firelord or something like that? I feel like it was. I remember playing that one and getting away with it. Maybe it wasn't. God, I don't know. I can't remember what it was called, to be honest with you. So you'd have to search the archives and let me know, people, because I can't even find it myself. I can't remember. Most of the time when I think back to these games, I've got an idea of what the name is, and then I can search the name in my thing and come across it. But I don't think I could find it straight away. Which game would be the pinnacle of my Warcraft 3 career? Probably the game where I beat Grubby, I think. When I crushed that guy, you know, taught him how to play Warcraft 3. A 4 versus 4 arranged team, which he wasn't even taken seriously. I crushed him. Whoa! No, that's not really the pinnacle. I would probably say the pinnacle of my Warcraft 3 career was quite possibly 4 versus 4 RT 137, which a lot of you will be familiar with. A lot of you. I think that's the one that really sort of kind of I don't know how to say it. It's just I was doing strategies for a long time before that point, but I feel like that's the one that I get the most feedback from, or people are the most familiar with, and it's got a real epic feel to it. Albeit the opponents weren't exactly that great, and I'll admit that, you know, if they were all good or the same level as me, I'm not going to stand a chance. They'd have to be a little bit worse, but it was one of those games where I was not expecting what happened to happen, and it's so funny kind of the way it all unraveled. You know, that game, just from the very start, the very get-go, it just got worse to worse to worse. And I was getting tower rushed on one of the bases, and it's just a nightmare. But then I got these awesome heroes. I had like Archmage, Tauren Chieftain, 2 Death Knights, I think. And I was just spamming out with all the units. Typically my Orc macro sucked. I don't know why Orc macro isn't hard, but for some reason for me, I cannot do it for shit. If I have 4 races, human, undead, night elf, orc, that orc base is going to have like 3,000 gold and 2,000 wood by 5 minutes into the game. I literally do not know why I suck so much with orc, but I think that was the one. That would probably be the pinnacle, I guess. But I've had a lot of good games since then, without doubt. Just as good, you know, the critter porting that started off this channel. That went amazing. There's the Shadowhunter First, lol, noob. That was an amazing game, especially because of the end result. And it's very, very good times because there's an arsehole on the enemy team. Even recently I did that 1 versus 4. I say recently enough. Mass Moonwells or something like that. What did I call it? That's the one where I got disc hacked. It was a 1 versus 4 in the end. It wasn't to begin with, but it was in the end. I did so much hard work in that, and I managed to come back despite all of the odds, and then right at the end, they had to disc hack me just to fucking stop me. So that was pretty amazing. I've had a lot of amazing games, to be quite frank with you, but off the top of my head, unless something else stands out to me, I would say the 137. So, yeah. Right. We got through it. 30 minutes onwards. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, then please do consider becoming a Patreon at patreon.com/WTiiWarcraft. Like I say, there's a link in the description below. If you pledge just $1, you'll get yourself access to an extra video for the month, and there's all sorts of other goodies the more you go up. So it's up to you. If you're interested or you want to help support the channel, the Warcraft free, that kind of thing, then, you know, give it a visit, consider it, and I'll be grateful. Regardless, as long as you're watching the videos, liking the videos, that helps me out a lot anyway. So, you know, just thank you anyway. I want to say a big thank you to the patrons for making this all possible. I'm so appreciative. Believe me, I am. Like, I'm almost saying that in a threatening way. No, I really am. Honestly, so grateful. And that's it, basically. That's your questions answered for this month. So here's to the next month. May will be the next one. Even though this video goes out in May, I have to wait for the, you know, things to finish up, and then I can put the April video in May. Speaking of which, if you're watching this, then all of your patron stuff is going out right now, so you're getting the links to it, etc, etc. So the extra video for the month, or if you're touring patrons, you're getting your extra videos. If you're berserkers or more, you're getting yourself the replay packs, all that stuff. It's all sorted today. So thank you very much, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.